What's up guys, I'm Dean and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I recently watched AntMan and the Wasp: QUANTUMANIA, as in I watched it like a few hours ago. And I want to share my thoughts with you guys. So I'm just going to try do this in one take and just barrel through what I'm thinking, because I have a lot of thoughts and I think it is quite complex and it's something I want to talk about, because this film was... it was fine. It was fine. There were bits about it which I really didn't like. There were bits about it which I thought were good. And there was many parts of it which I thought were just filled with nothing. Of just an empty void of just vast nothingness. Spoilers ahead. I'm going to give you my thoughts on this film and the state of the MCU as a whole. Just leave me your thoughts on this film down below in the comments. And please like this video. That always helps. And please subscribe. That would mean a lot to me. Let's get into this film. AntMan and the Wasp: QUANTUMANIA. I hate having to say this. I hate having to, after Love and Thunder and after QUANTUMANIA, come into these videos and go, I particularly didn't like this film. Because I wish at the bottom of my heart I had the ability to love these films. The MCU, as I'm sure you guys can tell by my channel and my TikTok and by all the content I make, means so much to me. And I adore pretty much all of its content. Well, that's not true. I adore the brand, and I adore the characters, and I adore the universe. But when they release films like this, like Love and Thunder, like AntMan and the Wasp: QUANTUMANIA, like things like Miss Marvel, which I think lots of Miss Marvel worked. I think it's slightly overhated because Aman Vellani is phenomenal in it, but that's besides what I'm talking about here. When they release this stuff and I have to sit down and make these videos and go, yeah, it wasn't very good, I hate having to do that. I hate having to jump on the bandwagon of people being like, oh, the MCU hasn't been any good since Endgame. Because I don't think that's true. I think a lot of great stuff has come out since Endgame. But when I have to sit down and say, I didn't like this and the MCU is going downhill, it pains me, and I really hate doing it because I don't want to. But here I am. I'm going to do it because it's what I think. And I'm going to share my thoughts with you guys, which is the point of these videos. AntMan and the Wasp: QUANTUMANIA. Kang really worked. And I know that's what everyone's saying. I know everyone's saying, oh, Jonathan Majors is great. I think Kang really worked. I think he was threatening. I think there were some good performances there. And I think the setup and the things he was saying were really interesting. I think him being beaten by an army of ants. Did I give a spoiler alert? Let's say I did. Him being defeated by an army of ants is like a little... underwhelming, like, oh, why didn't you just do that the next time he shows up? I'm sure they're going to come up with ways around that, but kind of undermines it. That's the issue with putting him as the villain in an Ant-Man film. I think he really worked, and I think those elements worked in his, the small glimpses we got to a backstory for him and things like that, I think really did a good job of setting him up in the future, and I think the stuff of him landing in the quantum realm and all that was great. What else did I like? I think the world building was interesting enough. I liked the quantum realm. I think a lot of the time it didn't look great, which is something I will get into later. But I think the world building was done well, and all of that stuff was, hunky-dory. What else did I like about this film? The opening was fun. The film was funny. I think MODOK really worked. I think there's one thing about MODOK which didn't work, which I'll get into later, but he was dumb and he was stupid and he looked weird, and I think all of that was great because he's supposed to be dumb and weird and stupid and look dumb, and that all worked perfectly. But most of the film was just nothing. Speaking of MODOK, only one character in this entire film got a character arc, and it was MODOK. AntMan is set up at the start of having all these flaws. He focuses on being a celebrity too much and not enough about being a hero, and he isn't able to relate to his daughter Cassie on the right levels. And I think these are two very big character flaws which the film sets up, admittedly, quite well at the start. And the film ends in literally the same place it starts. The film starts with an opening montage of him walking around the street and waving at people and being like, oh, my life's so weird and it's great, blah, blah, blah. And the film ends in exactly the same way. And it's just so evident that he hasn't learned anything in the course of the film. Yes, he might, get on better with his daughter now, but he's still focusing on being a celebrity. And he's like, oh, did I stop caring? I don't know. That was quite funny. But that's besides the point. There is no character arcs for any characters here. And I think that is a weak point of the film, that just everyone like everyone's like, oh, that was a weird afternoon we spent in the quantum realm. Anyway, back to it. Like nothing's changed over the course of the film, and it's sticking to the status quo. And that idea there is something I think isn't particularly working in the MCU nowadays, where they seem to be so insistent on sticking to the status quo and not changing characters and keeping them as they are, which I understand why they want to do it, for story and that sort of thing, but it doesn't work on the individual project level when you're watching like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or when you're watching AntMan, and he's just exactly the same at the start of the film as at the end. You're like, oh, like, what was the point of any of this? It was just a trailer for the next film. And I don't think this film was a trailer for Avengers. I think there was enough other stuff there. But, you know, who cares? Speaking of who cares, my second biggest complaint after the no character arcs with this film is the Wasp. This film is called AntMan and the Wasp, QUANTUMANIA. And the Wasp, Hope Van Dyne, has literally nothing to do here. She... If, like, you change one line of dialogue at the start and change the rest of this film, and you just told me they were siblings, the film would make complete sense. Because this relationship, I just don't buy at all. And they just don't give it enough time on screen. And they don't give the Wasp enough time on screen. And they don't give her enough agency. And I think that's a real shame. Because the Wasp is such a strong character with such great potential. And I know people have issues with Evangeline Lilly, and that's fine. I haven't really looked into it to have an opinion. But just wasting her character like that is such a shame, especially when her name's in the title. You know? It is quite... Just that this character has nothing to do, and just all the focus is on AntMan because Paul Rudd's great. And Paul Rudd is great. He's good here. He does a good job. I think Michael Douglas is fun here. I think Bill Murray is fun, and we all knew he was going to be in this film for like 30 seconds. I think... Once again, this film looks quite flat. I think more and more recently, I watched Spider-Man No Way Home this week, and all I could think about was, like, Spider-Man No Way Home is a phenomenal film. I think that's the last great film in the MCU. But it just looks so flat and dull and fake and uninteresting. And this film is like that, but worse. And I don't know what it is with the MCU at the moment, because it was an issue of Love and Thunder as well, and not really Multiverse Madness to an extent, but mostly Love and Thunder in this. Where just they all film it in front of the volume and they haven't fully realised what they're doing, and they don't give their CGI artists enough time, and they're all rushed and overworked, and everything just looks crap. And it's and that is just outrageous when you're running the biggest franchise of all time, the most profitable franchise of all time, and you just don't give these VFX artists enough time to work on their stuff, or just the focus they need, or the stuff they need. And I'm glad they delayed the Marvels. I think they made that decision because they're like, oh no one likes Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, let's delay. And like I said, this film isn't bad. But like I said, you're the biggest franchise of all time, you're the most profitable franchise of all time, and you're just releasing dud after dud like this. It is unacceptable, it is inexcusable, and it is just outright offensive to your viewers. To think that we don't care and we don't deserve this good content enough. And I'm not saying any of these films have to be masterpieces. I'm not saying they have to change the genre or be emotionally impactful and well-made cinema. They just have to be a bit of fun that makes sense and are fulfilling to watch. And like, sure, parts of this are a bit of fun, but no part of this is a fulfilling watch. I know I'm really not getting into specifics here, and I do have specifics to say about how I think MODOK's redemption was weird, and like, it was really annoying how Janet Van Dyne was just keeping stuff from her family the entire time, and like, I had another one, like the ending is so dumb with the Wasp coming back and be like, oh no, we're stuck in the quantum realm, oh wait, we can just tap, open a portal. Just all these small elements just combine to make a really inoffensive, offensive film. And just the way nothing happens the entire time and nothing changes just really upsets me. And the MCU should do better. I'm glad they're delaying stuff like the Marvels. And that's all I've got to say on this film, really. That's my thoughts, and that's my rant over. Thank you for watching. Please comment down below whether you agree with me, like I said, and if you haven't yet, please like this video and please subscribe. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 will be good. I have faith in that. I know it will be. I trust James Gunn. But the MCU better get their shit together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.